Some people don't walk into your life. They invade it, quietly tearing down your peace one breath at a time. They wear masks so perfect you'd swear they were heaven sent, until they start dimming your light. Because demons don't always come with horns, sometimes they come dressed as the ones you trust most. Not everyone who enters your life comes with pure intentions. Some people show up with smiles on their faces and warmth in their voices, but underneath it all, they carry something much darker. You can feel it in their presence. The weight in the room shifts, the atmosphere thickens, and suddenly your inner world no longer feels at ease. It's not always what they say. Often it's what they don't. See, it's in the silence that cuts deeper than words. The subtle glances that make you second-guess yourself. And the energy that drains you the moment they step into your space. You could be having the best day, feeling light and grounded, but their arrival changes that. You start to feel unsettled, irritated or anxious, and you can't even explain why. That's not a coincidence. That's your spirit picking up on something your mind hasn't yet named. That's your soul waving a red flag. These people don't destroy your peace by accident, it's in their nature. They erode your calm little by little, until one day you wake up feeling like a stranger in your own life. They don't attack you head on, no, their tactics are much more subtle, much more sinister. They operate through backhanded compliments, veiled sarcasm, or by simply being a constant source of negativity. Maybe they joke at your expense and dismiss your reaction as being too sensitive. Maybe they always find a way to highlight what's wrong instead of what's right, pouring cold water on your excitement and doubt into your victories. At first, it seems harmless, maybe even normal, but over time it eats away at your confidence and peace like slow poison. You begin to shrink yourself around them, adjust your energy to accommodate theirs, walk on eggshells and dim your light just to avoid conflict. The real danger lies in how slowly it happens. Because it's not dramatic or explosive, you start to think maybe it's you. You question your judgment, doubt your emotions, and silence your instincts. But deep down, you know something's wrong. And the longer you ignore it, the harder it becomes to reclaim the version of you that used to feel light, free, and whole. This isn't just emotional discomfort. It's spiritual warfare. Your peace is sacred. It's your internal compass. It's the state where your mind is clear, your decisions are grounded, and your energy is protected. When someone constantly disrupts that, whether they're family, a partner, a friend, or even someone you've known for years, you owe it to yourself to pause and ask, what is this connection really costing me? Peace is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the foundation upon which your dreams, your healing, and your growth are built. And anyone who chips away at that is not aligned with the purpose you're walking toward. Letting them go may feel like loss at first, but in truth it's liberation. Because once you start choosing peace over history, energy over attachment, and alignment over obligation, you begin to rebuild a life that actually feels like yours again. Have you ever walked away from a conversation or an encounter with someone and felt completely drained, as if they took a part of you with them? Not because of what was said, but because of how they made you feel? That's emotional vampirism. Some people don't feed on food or water, they feed on your energy, your compassion, your time. And no matter how much you give, it's never enough. They keep taking, expecting more, demanding more, until you're left empty, exhausted, and questioning why you feel so heavy. These are not just difficult people, they are emotional drainers. They thrive on your empathy, knowing exactly how to manipulate your kindness. They play the victim, tell sad stories, create crises, and make sure they are always the center of your emotional world. And the moment you try to pull away or set a boundary, they guilt trip you. Suddenly, you're the bad one, you're uncaring, you're selfish for choosing yourself. At first, it doesn't seem so toxic. You tell yourself you're just being a good person. You think you're being supportive, loyal, helpful. And that's exactly how they hook you in. They know you're compassionate. They know you want to be there for others. So they exploit it. They show up only when they need something. Your attention, your advice, your emotional labor. But when you're the one struggling, when you need support, they vanish. They deflect. They make excuses. Or worse, they make your pain about themselves. And over time, you start noticing the pattern. You give and give and give, but it's never reciprocated. You carry the emotional weight of two people, and slowly you begin to lose yourself in the process. You begin to ignore your own needs because you're too busy managing theirs. Your dreams are put on hold, your self-care fades, and your mind becomes cluttered with problems that aren't even yours to begin with. And when you finally take a moment to breathe, you wonder, when did I stop living for me? Real relationships, whether friendships, family bonds, or romantic connections, are meant to pour into you as much as you pour into them. They should feel like a balance, a mutual exchange of energy and love. But when one person is always giving while the other just takes, that's not connection. That's emotional slavery. The hardest part? Walking away. Because these people are master manipulators. They know how to make you feel needed, valued, even loved, just enough to keep you hooked. But the love is conditional. The appreciation is shallow. And the moment you try to reclaim your energy, they turn the narrative against you. But hear this clearly. You are not responsible for carrying someone who refuses to stand on their own. You are not a healer for people who refuse to heal. Your emotional energy is sacred, and it's time to protect it. When you stop allowing others to drain your spirit, you create space for peace, joy, and relationships that uplift you instead of break you down. Letting go is not cruel. It's self-love in its truest form. The most dangerous people in your life are rarely the ones who lie openly. They're not the ones you see coming. They are the ones who slip in quietly, undetected, wrapped in charm, sincerity, and familiarity. These individuals don't deceive with clumsy dishonesty. They deceive with precision. They study you. They learn what you want, what you fear, what you hope for. And then they wear a mask crafted perfectly for your world. They can show up as the most supportive friend, the most understanding partner, or the most helpful mentor. But behind that carefully built image is a calculated agenda. They're not there to lift you up. They're there to control, manipulate, and benefit from your trust. And that's what makes them so dangerous. Because you don't see the betrayal coming until it's too late. Deception doesn't always announce itself loudly. It creeps in, disguised as care. It looks like affection. It sounds like agreement. These people mirror your values not because they believe in them, but because they know that if they reflect what you want to see, you let them in without resistance. You'll drop your guard. You'll confide in them. And once you do, they begin to shape the narrative. They twist truth subtly. They deny things they once said. They shift blame. They gaslight you, making you doubt your memory, your perception, even your sanity. And all the while they maintain the facade. They still smile. They still speak with kindness. And they still play the role so convincingly that you start to question yourself before you ever question them. That's their true power. Not just in lying, but in making you doubt your instincts. You feel something is off. You sense the energy changing. You notice inconsistencies in their words or actions. But they are so skilled at covering their tracks, so gentle in their deceit, that you silence your intuition. You give them the benefit of the doubt. You make excuses on their behalf. And they count on that, because as long as you remain confused, they remain in control. They don't just want access to your trust. They want influence over your emotions. They want to be the person you run to and the person you fear losing. So they create emotional highs with affection, praise, and attention. Then withdraw it to keep you chasing it. It becomes a cycle: reward, punishment, validation, withdrawal. And by the time you realize you're trapped in it, you're emotionally attached and mentally worn out. But here's the truth. The mask always slips. It may be brief, a moment of anger, a careless word, a situation they can't control, but it reveals what's been hidden all along. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Your gut is your protection. Your spirit knows before your mind does. If something feels off, even if everything on the surface looks perfect, listen, trust yourself, because the truth always finds its way out. And when it does, your only job is to face it with courage, not denial. Walk away, let the mask fall, without chasing the illusion, because once deception is exposed, the only path forward is truth. There are people who don't want to see you fail, but they don't want to see you grow either. They prefer you comfortable, manageable, and small. Growth threatens them because growth means change. Growth means distance, and if you rise, they fear being left behind. So rather than encouraging your potential, they encourage your limitations. They wrap their discouragement in gentle words, masking it as concern. They'll say things like, "Are you sure that's realistic?" Or, "I just don't want to see you get hurt." But underneath the soft tone is a dangerous seed of doubt, quietly planted in your mind. They want you to second-guess yourself, to lower your ambition, to believe that your dreams are just too big. And over time, you start to believe them. You shrink a little more each time they speak. Not because they directly attack you, but because they slowly chip away at your confidence with words that sound protective but are really limiting. These people won't openly tell you to stop. Instead, they'll be the first to comfort you when you give up. They'll say, "It's okay, you tried." Or maybe it wasn't meant to be, not to heal you, but to keep you from trying again. Because as long as you're broken, you'll lean on them. As long as you doubt yourself, you'll need their approval. That's how they keep you dependent. It's not support, it's control, and it's not love. It's sabotage in disguise. True supporters don't fear your strength, they celebrate it. They don't water your fears, they water your courage. But these people, they look for your wounds and whisper into them, not to heal, but to keep them fresh. They are the ones who make mediocrity feel like safety. They convince you that staying small is wise, that playing it safe is smart, that settling is responsible. They never challenge you to reach higher. In fact, the moment you begin to rise, they pull you back with passive doubts and veiled criticisms. "Don't get ahead of yourself," they'll say. Or, "People like us don't really succeed like that." And if you keep growing despite their resistance, their true colors begin to show. Jealousy, resentment, passive aggression. They can't hide it for long, because your light threatens the shadow they've kept you in. And that's when you realize they never believed in you. Not really. They only believed in the version of you that needed them. But you don't have to stay small to keep others comfortable. You don't have to dim your light for people who are afraid to shine. If someone in your life isn't challenging you to rise, to grow, to be more, you need to ask yourself why they're in your circle. Because the people who truly care about you won't feed your weaknesses. They'll push you to confront them. They'll hold up a mirror, not to shame you, but to show you who you can become. And that kind of love, that kind of support is rare, but it's the only kind worth keeping. People who push you to rise, not those who anchor you in your fear. There are people in this world who won't tear you down openly, but they will chip away at your confidence piece by piece, day by day, word by word. They won't come at you with obvious insults or direct attacks. Instead, they operate with subtlety, cloaking their negativity in backhanded compliments, sarcastic remarks, or comments that sound harmless on the surface but leave a lasting sting. It's the kind of person who says, "You look good," for once, or "Wow, you're doing well. Didn't expect that from you." You laugh it off at first, maybe even smile along with them, thinking it's just a joke. But deep down, something doesn't sit right. And over time, those little comments start to echo in your mind, making you question your worth, your intelligence, your abilities, your value. That's not an accident, it's calculated. Because people who try to control you emotionally know that confidence is their greatest threat. A confident you is a free you. A confident you doesn't need validation. And they can't manipulate someone who truly knows their own worth. These people might pretend they're just being real or honest. They'll claim they're trying to help you grow or keep you grounded. But real honesty uplifts. It corrects without crushing. It holds space for growth without making you feel small. What these individuals are doing isn't honesty, it's emotional sabotage. And they're clever about it. If you call them out, they'll flip the script. They'll say you're overreacting, that you're too sensitive, that you can't take a joke. And just like that, you start to doubt not only your confidence, but your right to even defend it. You begin to sense yourself, shrink your energy, and tiptoe around their reactions. You start dressing a little plainer, speaking a little softer, dreaming a little smaller, just to avoid their snide remarks or cold glances. They haven't just hurt your self-esteem, they've trained you to doubt yourself even before they do. It's a slow erosion, a kind of psychological conditioning that convinces you that maybe you're not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough. But here's the truth. Anyone who genuinely cares for you would never want to see your confidence diminish. They would celebrate your growth. They would speak life into your dreams. They would help you stand taller, not silently cheer as you start to hunch under the weight of their words. If someone in your life consistently makes you feel like you're too much or not enough, that's not feedback. It's control. That's their fear speaking. Because when you know who you are, when you step fully into your power, you become someone they can no longer manipulate or contain. Pay close attention, not just to what people say, but how you feel after being around them. Do you feel encouraged, uplifted, energized? Or do you feel uncertain, insecure, and hesitant? Your confidence is not a threat, it's your armor. And anyone who tries to remove that armor isn't protecting you, they're preparing to control you. Don't let them. Stand firm, reclaim your voice, because your confidence isn't just about self-esteem, it's the gateway to your freedom. One of the most telling signs that someone is toxic is the storm they always seem to bring with them. When they walk into your life, peace walks out. There's always drama, always conflict, always tension. And the strange thing is, it's never their fault, at least according to them. They position themselves as the victim, the misunderstood one, or the only one telling the truth. But pay close attention and you'll start to notice a pattern. Everywhere they go, confusion follows. These individuals thrive in chaos, because chaos keeps you distracted. When your life is loud, messy, and reactive, you don't have the time or clarity to see them for what they really are. In peace, your mind calms, your intuition sharpens, your vision clears. And that's a problem for them, because once you truly see them, you might walk away, and they can't have that. So instead, they stir the pot. They provoke arguments over the smallest things. They twist your words, misinterpret your actions, or suddenly go silent to punish you emotionally. One day they're warm and engaging, the next they're distant and cold. And you spend your time trying to figure out what you did wrong. That emotional instability is not accidental. It's manipulation. They want you walking on eggshells, constantly trying to please them, constantly questioning yourself. Because when your attention is focused on surviving the chaos, you stop paying attention to the damage they're causing. You stop noticing the emotional fatigue that's setting in. You stop questioning the relationship. And that's exactly how they maintain control. These individuals often carry unresolved wounds, but instead of healing, they externalize their pain and project it onto others. They create problems where there are none. They manufacture misunderstandings. And if things are going too smoothly, they'll find a way to disrupt the peace. Maybe it's picking a fight out of nowhere. Maybe it's bringing up past issues you thought were resolved. Maybe it's dragging other people into your conflict, turning your circle into a battlefield. And through it all, they keep themselves at the center, spinning the narrative in their favor. What you need to understand is this. Real love, real friendship, real connection, those things feel safe. They feel calm. You can have disagreements without it becoming a war. You can speak your mind without fearing retaliation. But when someone keeps you in a constant state of emotional turmoil, that's not a relationship, it's a trap. And the longer you stay in it, the more you lose yourself. Your mind becomes cloudy, your spirit tired, and your heart heavy. That's not just stress, that's spiritual suffocation. You deserve peace. You deserve stillness. You deserve to wake up without bracing for an argument or checking someone's mood like it's the weather. If someone is always at the center of your stress, it's not just bad luck. It's a sign that it's time to step away. Find your center again. Choose calm over chaos, because only in peace will you be able to hear your soul again. And that's where your truth lives. When you start to truly pay attention, the signs are always there. They destroy your peace, drain your emotions, deceive you with charm, feed your weaknesses, sabotage your confidence, and keep your life in a constant state of chaos. And the most painful truth? These people don't always come as enemies. Sometimes they come as lovers, sometimes as friends, sometimes even as family. but their energy tells the truth your heart has been too loyal to accept. This isn't about judgment, it's about protection. It's about recognizing that not everyone around you is aligned with your purpose. Some people were never meant to walk with you through every season. They were meant to teach you, to test you, and then to be released. And that's not hate, that's healing. You don't need to argue, you don't need to prove your pain or explain your distance. The most powerful move you can make is silent separation. Choose peace over chaos. Choose growth over attachment. Choose truth over illusion. Because every time you let go of someone who is never truly for you, you make space for someone who is. Your energy is sacred, your purpose is divine, and your soul deserves the kind of relationships that nourish, uplift, and ignite your light, not those that quietly dim it. You are not here to fix everyone, you are here to rise. So trust your spirit when it senses danger, even in a smile. And when the mask falls, don't pick it up. Walk away, heal, and keep becoming everything they try to make you forget you could be.